Where is the proof of God? Psychologists tell us that some people are just plain hard to convince of anything. They believe very little and trust practically no more. They employ what is called manipulative evidence reaction response. It is actually intentional inattention. They refuse to believe. I have talked to people like that. They say they simply can't believe in God. Where is the proof? Depending on the situation, I go through the various proofs. But beforehand, I explain that God can't be proven scientifically. You can't take his picture or measure him with laser cameras. God is seen by faith, not through the cornea. There are, however, several scientific principles of laws that strongly suggest God exists. For example, the law of cause and effect certainly suggests a God behind it all. Go back for enough, and you have to arrive at the uncaused first cause. Every house is built by someone, but God built everything. The law of entropy tells us the universe is running down. The point is, if the universe is running down, it can't run by itself under its own power. It had to begin somewhere with someone or something. That's what we talked about a moment ago, the mystical uncaused first cause. The law of design is one of the most convincing arguments for God I know of. Is all the design and order in the universe simply due to lucky cosmic accident? Why, for example, does the Earth spin through space at 17,500 miles per hour? Why not 16,900 miles per hour? Why is the moon 2,40,000 miles away? Do you know what would happen if the moon were 50,000 miles away? The ocean tides would be so huge the water around were down entire mountain ranges. Obviously, owning beachfront property would be a thing of the past. In addition, there would be daily hurricanes. The technological argument eloquently states that the design of the universe points to a grand designer. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the word of his hand. The moral argument for God points out that all people across the face of the earth have a built in sense of right and wrong. Where did that sense of right and wrong came from? Can you really account for it aside from someone who created man and programmed him for right and wrong in the first place? Finally, there is what the technologians call the ontological argument, which asks, where did we get our ideas of God in the first place? How can man think of something that isn't there? Because we can conceive of God is a strong indication that somebody gave us the ability. We can go on and on with arguments for the existence of God, but in the final analysis, we must take Him on faith. As I mentioned before, I believe that human beings are born to believe in God. Fish were born to swim in the sea. Birds were born to fly, animals were born to roam the face of the earth, and man was born to believe in God. Why didn't God create us in such a way that we couldn't help but believe in Him? Why does God require faith from us? After all, if there is such a being as God, why doesn't He just prove Himself? I often hear that question. We have already talked about a lot of the proofs of God, but nothing will finally and conclusively prove beyond all doubt that He exists. My father was talking with a group of Japanese people while attending an event in Tokyo. He asked them what they call themselves, and they replied almost unanimously, "We are atheists." "Why are you atheist?" Their combined answer was, "We are very scientific. We do not believe in something that cannot be proven." As if it came from his subconscious, my father heard himself saying, "That's a contradiction. Such the truth is, when proof is possible, faith is impossible." If God proved Himself to us, we wouldn't be believers. We would simply be followers. If there is a God, why doesn't He prove it to us? The answer is simple. If He proved Himself to us, we wouldn't be believers. We would simply be followers. I choose to believe God exists. In Him I live, move, and have my being. Have you ever thought about what would happen if God took the day off? There is a story about an executive who came home from the office to find the house a total disaster. His wife was unusually a wonderful housekeeper, so he simply couldn't understand why everything was such a mess. "What happened?" he asked in amazement. His wife took up from the couch and said, "Remember how you always ask, what could you possibly be doing all day? Well, today I didn't do it." If there is ever a day when God decides not to do it, there will be a far bigger mess than the woman's unkempt house. To tell you the truth, I don't want to be around. In fact, none of us will be around. We will not exist because the very source of our existence, God Himself, will be gone.